what is business credit? Now, there's many gurus and companies out there who quote unquote offer business credit, but is it truly funding that you can use for your business without having an impact on your personal credit? Business credit comes in the form of two different ways. First way is in the form of lines of credit. Now, in order to get a business line of credit, a line of credit is a revolving account where you get a checkbook. You can write a check, pay it down, pay it off, write another check, and so forth. Easy to liquidate. This business line of credit is only accessible to that person who can be perceived as a quote-unquote legit company, meaning they satisfy the 3 C's. Number 1, they have the credit, at least a 680 FICO score or higher. Second C, they have the capital. They have P&Ls, tax returns, and so forth, proving the profitability of their company. And C, they have credibility. Their company's been seasoned over 2 years, and again, they have full documentation. They're in compliance, proving that their business is a standalone, legit company. Now, the other form of business credit are business credit cards. Business credit cards are as equally as good as a line of credit. They're unsecured credit cards that you can use for any type of purchase, whether you want to use it for your business to acquire equipment, to pay for marketing expenses, anything you want to use business credit for, you can. They're unsecured credit cards. So you want your personal credit looking pretty. As I always say, that Hollywood credit. Credit where you look so pretty and attractive to the banks, all the banks perceive you as an attractive borrower. And you also want to make sure this business credit can be liquidated. Unlike some credit cards, there are a few in which they're charge cards, meaning they don't do balance transfers and you cannot liquidate them. Since 2007, after the real estate crash, there's been many credit card companies that were, for one, quote unquote, business credit cards, in which they do not report their accounts on your personal credit. But since the crash, they decided, you know what? I'm going to start reporting on a person's personal credit. And that happened to my mentor. I was around, getting tours from him, and he had one particular credit card account. It never showed up on his personal account until after the crash. And then all that debt showed up. And then once it did, that had a negative impact on his debt to income ratio was affected for mortgages. So that's why we at 100% Finance, we know the few select cards from multiple states, and we're considered a COI, a center of influence, in which we know which bank underwriting is and which banks you can use for real estate investing, which bank you can use in regards to converting to cash, what banks you can use, what credit cards you can use, and which those accounts do not show up on your personal credit. Many people who watch my videos just think it's just as simple as pie. Okay, Juan Pablo, I get it. You offer business credit. I know you want me to click on your link and apply, blah, 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 but I'm gonna go out there and do it on myself. Let me share with you a story. I had a good friend of mine, his name is Julian, in Jersey City. He's a truck driver. So he wanted to acquire business credit so he can buy more trucks. And as he bought more trucks, he'll hire people to rent his trucks and charge them like rent, like what I do for real estate, which is a good business model. However, Julian had a proposition for me. He said, hey Juan, I know you know all the underwriting. I know you'll charge me a fee on the back end for helping me get funded, but being that we're friends, we're bros, I want to know if you can just share with me the names and the 1-800 numbers for all the business credit cards you have. And I want to see if I can apply for myself, just to see how good your company is versus me doing it on my own. I said, okay, cool, sounds like fair game. Here's all the credit cards I have, about over 25 by the way, and here's all the 1-800 numbers, Julian. Let me know your outcome. So he applied on his own without any advice or consultation from me. Guess how much he got awarded? That's right, a big fat 0. Now I said, all right, Julian, being that you have decent credit, and you should have qualified, but allow me and my company to apply for business funding on your behalf. Guess what? He got over $40,000. The same creditors that denied him, when we applied on his behalf, they approved him. Why? I said a few moments ago. We at 100% Finance are considered a COI, a center of influence. So when we slide your application across the table to a banking institution with our stamp of approval on it, more than likely you'll get approved for funding. And we make sure we apply for the right accounts, not credit cards that'll be detrimental to you. So I have to state this because I have a lot of people who place comment on my YouTube channel and they end up making a mistake. They get credit cards in which they show up on the person's personal credit report as accounts, or they get credit cards which cannot be liquidated to cash. So you want to make sure you do things the right way and use our services so you can virtually eliminate the mistakes you make. Again, it's not as simple as you just applying for an application. You have to understand the underwriting for each credit card company. That's why I became a licensed mortgage broker. I wanted to understand the underwriting so every loan mortgage that I apply for would get approved. So likewise, we did the same thing for business credit. Now, if you're applying and you don't understand the mindset of the underwriter, you can put one small mistake on your application and get denied. Also, it might not be your fault. You might have did everything correct, dotted your I's, crossed your T's, but you're unaware of how they do business. What do you mean, Juan? Many business credit companies do automatic underwriting. So what does that mean? They have a machine in which you feed your application and they automatically underwrite it and just deny you. But what you have to do is request a manual underwrite. They have a person who's sitting back doing nothing underwrite your mortgage and challenge them. Many people don't know that. You can challenge the credit card companies to have them reverse their decision. I've done that with many credit cards. They first denied me and said, okay, we reviewed your application, mister. Guess what? We got you approved. Just for a small amount, $7,500. Or, hey, I got it, one credit card company. They've approved me for $1,000. I called them back and said, hey, what am I going to do with $1,000? Well, what do you mean, sir? I need to use this as my operating account. My business operating expenses exceed $1,000 for the month. I need you to increase it to $12,000. Well, unfortunately, sir, I can't help you. All right, if you can't help me, can you transfer me to someone who can? Spoke to a supervisor. 10 minutes later, that one card went from $1,000 to $5,000 in a matter of minutes. Today, that account is $26,500. So we've been there. We've done that. We're real estate investors, and we're here to help you. Okay, so I'm going to give you some statistics. 9 out of 10 people who apply for business credit, they end up getting denied simply because they did it on their own and they ran into the wall of automatic underwriting. Filled out their application wrong, or for some odd reason they didn't get funded. But through our program, we have a 53% success rate. Especially in 2017, we helped small business owners, real estate investors, much like yourself, obtain over $5.5 million in funding by using our services. Did all of them qualify right off the bat? No, but we had solutions to offer them to help them boost their FICO score to get approved. You might be saying, well, I thought you said these accounts don't show up on your credit. The accounts don't, but typically if you're starting off getting business credit, as I mentioned, and you don't have those 3 C's, you might have a FICO score of 680 or higher, which is great, but you might not have P&Ls, tax returns, you might not be in compliance, you might not have an 80 payday score. To get business credit without a personal guarantee, you gotta have all those things. But if you want business credit, by all means, we like to take a look at your credit. We just wanna see if you're credit worthy as a borrower. But I heard it before. Well, Juan Pablo, in a perfect world, I think my personal credit should be separate from my business. We don't live in a perfect world. And secondly, when you like to look at someone's credit worthiness, if they're just getting started in business, right? You want to make sure they honor their obligations. So that's all we want to do, just take a look at your credit. But the business credit accounts will not appear on your personal credit, but they will only if you default. All you got to do is make the minimum payment. And if you can't afford the minimum payment, then by all means, you shouldn't be in business anyway. You got to be able to be focused on generating revenue, guys. So that way you have other people called customers or tenants, in my case, pay off that debt for you and put profit in your pocket. So typically, the average person who applies to our system gets $40,000 in their first round. So yes, you can get awarded several rounds of funding every 3 to 6 months. So I highly recommend for you to apply and take action today, especially if you're that person who says, you know what, I'm an employee currently, but I want to be a full-time entrepreneur. I want to be a remote entrepreneur. I want to be able to earn passively and live passively, as you stated, Juan Pablo. I want to be financially free and independent. Well, if you have that goal, you have to take action. And that's the #1 reason why most businesses fail. They're undercapitalized. They don't know how or where they get the capital just to get their business off the ground. So if you're curious and you'd like to learn more, please apply using the link below. It's free consultation and we'll love to help you out. And again, we have solutions to help you out to get the capital you need to succeed. As always, guys, it's to your success. Continue to earn passively, live passionately. Peace.